The Fitbit Air is Google's newest Fitbit device. Similar to the famous Whoop and other similar band trackers that are all the rage right now, it doesn't have a screen, just a sensor in a band. The goal here is tracking your health and fitness in the background while staying completely out of your way. No screen to distract you with messages and alerts. So, nothing new. But it does have something that helps it break into the segment, and that is it doesn't rely on the subscription model, at least for the basic tier, but we'll get into that later. And it's also much cheaper. At $100, it's a very attractive proposition for people who want this Whoop-style form factor but stayed away because of the investment. But before we jump into the technical bits, as always, I'm going to rant about my initial experience, starting with the band colors. This is the performance band, and most of the colors are as advertised, except the obsidian in my opinion. If you're expecting a dark to blackish band, it is not. It is mostly gray in real life. So if you're looking to get closer to black, then you might want the elevated band. As we know, when you put the word elevated in front of anything, it's supposed to make it better. In this case, it is probably true. In terms of comfort, it's super comfortable. At roughly 12 grams with the band attached, it's one of the lightest fitness trackers I've ever worn on my wrist. And it's super easy to forget you have it on, which is super great for sleep tracking because I've been known to give myself a black eye when sleeping with a smartwatch. However, as comfortable as it is, it does feel a little cheap to me, but that's just me. Now, let's talk about the tracker. It sits in the band and can be popped out. And like I said earlier, it doesn't have a screen for notifications, but it does have an LED indicator on the side to let you know when it's charging. If you tap it twice, the LED indicator will blink twice to let you know you have above 20% of battery life left. If it blinks red, then you have below 20%, and if it does not come on at all, well, you guessed it, it's dead. Inside, there is a haptic motor for subtle vibrations, which can be used as a silent alarm for waking you up. The setting for this is a bit tucked away though. You have to go into the device settings and then tap the alarm to set it up and choose the days you want it to vibrate. It also vibrates when the battery is below 20% to give you a heads up to charge it. Initial setup is pretty straightforward. Once it's out of the box, you need to activate it with the charger. And if you don't have it, download the Google Health app, not Fitbit, because Google scratched that. In fact, if you had a Fitbit account, it prompts you to move your Fitbit account over to Google Health because that service will totally be gone by July 15th. Depending on when you're watching this video, it might be gone. If not, you're gonna have to move it before then, I believe. So after that, your old Fitbit data will be deleted. So says Google. Then agree to the terms and conditions, and you can choose to link apps like Samsung Health and Apple Health if you like. One limitation is that it's currently one-way street, so the Fitbit Air can import data from those apps, but you can't send data the other way. And I don't see why they would want to anyway. And boom, you're in, but not really ready to go. I say that because this tracker, like the Whoop, requires a calibration period. In this case, we're looking at 7 days to get a baseline of your resting heart rate, recovery patterns, sleep timing, cardio levels, etc. It won't even give you a recovery score for the first couple of days until you go through this calibration period. And within those 7 days, there were some random events, like I woke up with over 300 steps. Maybe I sleepwalk or practice Kung Fu in my sleep, which would explain body pains and missing food from the fridge, but I don't think so. I think it's just phantom steps from an overactive tracker during the calibration period. And other people have reported this error as well, and I guess Google's gonna fix that in an update at some time. I've also experienced missing sleep data bug, but this happened to me just once. However, when I'm awake, it's pretty decent. Take step counting, for example. I did an experiment where I counted 500 steps 3 times, and each time was about 10 to 15 steps off the mark. Not perfect, but pretty good. And on that subject of tracking, let's talk about everything else the Fitbit Air actually tracks. Keep in mind, this is similar sensor to what you would find in the Fitbit Inspire 3 and Charge from about 10 years ago. That's a whole decade. But despite that, you still get tracking for continuous heart rate monitoring, blood oxygen tracking, that's SpO2, skin temperature monitoring, step tracking, workout tracking, sleep tracking, activity monitoring, all working in the background throughout the day. However, when it comes to workout detection, it easily detects things like walking or running, things that, go in a straight line and require you to pace the pedometer. But it doesn't seem to auto-detect things like weight training. So you have to intentionally activate that in the tracking Google Health app for those sessions to be logged in real time. If you don't log them in real time, you can always go back in. It'll let you log in your data post-workout. You can also log other elements like your water hydration and the food you take in. You would be surprised at the meals you would find when you search in here. I was pleasantly shocked. Now, it goes without saying, because there's no screen, all the data is reviewed and interpreted on the Google Health app. Google is also heavily promoting its Gemini AI-powered health coach, but you only get this with the premium tier. And at the time of this video, with your new purchase, Google is still giving away a couple of months free trial, kind of to get you hooked on that service. And you can decide to go on later if you want it for about $100 a year, which is still cheaper than the Whoop, but more about that later. The AI uses your activity, sleep, travel, location, and recovery information to generate personalized suggestions and coaching plans, depending on the target you've set. It's pretty decent, as I was able to tell when I switched time zones and made suggestions on bedtime adjustments and stress advice to help me adjust my circadian rhythm for optimal recovery. And like the Whoop, you can get pretty granular on health advice by adding your medical records, tracking meals with pictures, hydration, like I said earlier, etc., but still not as in-depth with the advanced trackers you would find on the Whoop. So you're not paying $100 for the same level of tracking. Battery life is another area where the Fitbit Air benefits from not having a display. Google claims up to 7 days of battery life, and it's a realistic estimate. I've done 6 to 7 days on average on a full charge. All in all, is it really the Whoop killer? Is it perfect? Why would someone consider a Whoop over this? A bunch of questions a bunch of people asked me when they saw me rocking it. For one, the Fitbit Air lacks ECG functionality and advanced stress sensors like you would find on the Whoop, which is designed for deep analysis and recovery if you're in the Whoop category. If the Whoop is considered professional athlete level tracker, then the Fitbit Air would be for everybody else, in my opinion. And that's not a bad thing, because let's face it, there are more regular humans trying to be healthy people versus professional level athletes walking around down the street. Plus, the Whoop subscription model makes it a bit more premium, because once you stop paying that $200 a year, your device is a wristband. It's a brick in comparison to the Fitbit Air that gives you all the basic tracking functionality if you choose to skip the premium subscription of $100 a year. Also, do you really need that $100 subscription? Yeah, the AI coach is cute, matching your location, weather, tracking data to give you advice. But I reckon if you're a very basic user and just need to track the metrics, because you can read on the screens and know when you had good sleep or bad sleep, and you can also feel it, maybe the cheapskate in me is just getting ahead. So yes, it does have some benefits if you do have a goal to guide you along, but if you already understand your metrics on your own, maybe you don't need it. Either way, you do you. In summary, it's comfortable, it's affordable, decent tracking, and good battery life. Hopefully Google works out some of the bugs in good time, and if anyone is good at making updates, it's Google. They do drops like crazy. In fact, right before this video was released, there was an update firmware to solve the problem of the missing sleep data issue, so here's hoping we get more in the future. I expect there will be more of this form factor from other brands with no subscription to really fight the competition which the Fitbit Air is giving right now, and that will drive prices down, which is what consumers love to see. Well, at least consumers like me. Let me know if you have any questions. I will see you guys later. Take care.